Hi, everyone. So quick intros. I'm Hannah. I look after attention measurement at Snap as part of our marketing science team.
Hello, I'm Donia, and I'm Global VP Partnerships at Lumen.
And we're super excited to be here today to talk to you about the attention journey that we have been going on together. So there's quite a bit of content that we're going to talk to you guys about. Firstly, I'm going to talk to you about Snapchat's point of view on attention, why attention is important to us. Then I will talk to you a little bit about some of the learnings that we've had as we've kind of moved through different research studies over the years. And then I'm going to pass over to Donia, who's going to talk to you specifically about our journey as Lumen and Snap. So first things first, why do we think attention is important at Snapchat? There's a few reasons for this. So I'm just going to jump through all my builds. Firstly, I think it's important to remember that it's not necessarily a new thing, right, that we want to capture consumers' attention. But the current viewability approach is not necessarily completely reflective of opportunities to see, and it doesn't necessarily reflect actual human attention or active eyes on ads. We believe that by focusing on measuring real consumer outcomes, that essentially allows us to make sure that we're giving credit where credit's due and we're not over or underestimating the value of a particular format. Secondly, and I'm going to bring these two things together a little bit, attention is a measure of quality, and we know that quality ads drive outcomes. And then finally, if as an industry we can all come together and agree on a kind of standardized metric or a standardized solution, it can become an incredibly important way of us to be able to measure our media moving forward. Although I do appreciate we've got quite a long way to go until we get to that point. So, one of the most important things I think to remember when it comes to attention is that attention in itself is not the outcome. So, if we think of all of the different metrics that we have available to us as marketeers, it tends to fall into two main buckets. So firstly, transparency measures, so us being able to understand the opportunity that something has to drive an outcome. Secondly, we've got performance metrics, so did you or did you not drive the outcome you were looking for? And attention squarely fits into that transparency bucket. So think of it as like the vehicle to get us to where you want to go rather than the destination that you're looking for. My screen down here is not moving at the same as me, so I apologize. Attention is in the middle, as you can see. Right, and transparency is really important to us at Snapchat. We want to make sure that we're being transparent about the performance of our formats so that you guys can all maximize the performance that you get from those formats. And in order to do so, we need to be really clear about the partners that we're engaging with, but equally that means that the methodologies too, right? And as I mentioned before, we believe that both visual tracking and biological observations should form the kind of building blocks and the cornerstones of any attention measurement solution. So now we've got the basics out of the way, what comes next? We have been on quite a journey at Snapchat about evaluating and understanding how attention works, not just for us as a platform, but if we look across audiences in general. And over the past few years, we have worked with a number of different vendors on a number of different methodologies. So I could name any acronym and also all of the sorts of different things about the different metrics that we've been using and the different methodologies we've been using. And Lumen has been a great partner for us as we've moved through that journey. So before I hand it over to Donia to talk about our journey together and the kind of work that we've been doing, I just want to highlight a couple of learnings that we've gained along the way. Firstly, we know that Snapchatters actively pay attention to ads on our platform. So the kind of full screen, vertical, mobile nature of our platform means that when we compare to social norms in general, as a whole, we get over 5 times the active attention that we see on the norm level. And actually, what's lucky for me is that it wasn't just one study that told us this. It's been corroborated by different vendors and from different studies themselves. But it's not just that, right? At Snapchat, we think AR is awesome. And it is. It's great. And it's something we really care deeply about at our platform. And with that in mind, I was super excited, but probably not massively surprised to find that we were able to demonstrate how immersive and how engaging that format is when it comes to driving attention. Now, I am going to jump through a few reasons for that, but it's pretty easy to get, really. Consumers pay attention to AR in a completely different way to how they pay attention to other formats. So let's take a second and think about kind of standard mobile video ads. You'll capture your attention, you might look at it, but you probably only pay attention to it for a second or two. If we think about TV or cinema, if you're paying attention to it, it tends to be for a longer period of time, I think around 14 seconds on average or something like that. When we think about AR, actually it has what we call a hybrid attention decay, which means that you pay a high level of attention for an extended period of time before that then drops off. And it makes sense, right? If we think about you see an ad for a sofa and you're looking at it across a kind of video platform, yeah, you'll probably engage with it, particularly if it's a sofa that you like or it's in a pattern or a color that you enjoy. But you're absolutely not going to pay the same level of attention as if you're able to take that sofa and take it out of the ad, place it into your front room and work out where it fits best or the color that goes best with the rest of your decor. And that's really something that AR allows you to immerse yourself in and move forward. But it's not just formats. So AR is not the only interesting finding we've come across. Another thing that we really wanted to understand is that attention and how it differs across audiences. Now, I'm sure everyone in this room has spoken about the fact that attention spans are getting shorter and people aren't paying as much attention as they used to in the past. And actually, if you look at the numbers on face value, yeah, that's absolutely what you'll see. But when you look at second by second attention across different generations and different age groups, you can find something pretty interesting. And that's when you look at Gen Z, the level of active attention they pay is actually higher in the first few seconds than you get from other audiences. So we think now about what that means for attention spans. Is it that that audience have a shorter attention span, or is it just that they're able to get things quicker and they don't need as long with your ads? Therefore, you need to be really, really sure that you are delivering that message in the first few seconds to make sure that they can take it away. So final slide from me in terms of outcomes, and this time I want to move on to creative. There is such a huge amount of research that could be done and should be done when we think about all of the different creative varieties that we can dive into and what element of each creative can be optimized to make sure we're driving the attention that we need. One of the things that we've looked into is to understand the impact of brand purpose or sustainability messaging on outcomes when it comes to attention. And what we were able to demonstrate is that, yes, you do get higher attention from those kind of ads, but it also translates into higher long-term brand loyalty lift than non-brand purpose messaging. So, to summarize, we know that formats and platforms are able to drive attention, particularly on Snapchat, lucky for me. But we also have found some really interesting nuances when it comes to audiences and also to the kind of creative elements of our campaigns that we need to put together. And with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Donia, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the journey that we've been on together to take this research out of what we call microscope, I guess, into the marketplace that you guys are all using.
Thanks, Hannah. So, as Hannah mentioned, Lumen and Snap have been working together for years in creating a ground truth human data set with attention, and that was across the Snapchat ad portfolio. And we've been working on scaling this attention solution for a few years now. So, in order to do so, we first had to process campaign data that helped us really understand how users look at the ads and compare that to the Lumen norms. With Snap, we've analyzed billions of campaigns across almost 800 campaigns to be able to build an attention measurement solution that could predict attention and outcomes with high accuracy. So with percentage viewed, advertisers can understand the level of awareness and can understand media efficiency, whereas with average view time, we're able to look at consideration based on ad creative. We use two metrics to calculate attention cost and attention score. The first one is APM, which is our attention score. It shows the overall attention level across the ads, and it gives advertisers a single number that enables them to measure effectiveness. And then we have attention cost per thousand, which helps us give a view of efficiency by showing the cost of attention rather than the cost of impressions. So by analyzing these campaigns, we wanted to make sure of three things. That first, that the modeled results were in line with our expectations, that the attention was correlated to brand lifts, and that we were able to establish a relationship between the creative and campaign objectives. So by validating all of this through extensive eye tracking, brand lift studies, as well as a programmatic data set of billions of impressions, we were able to create norms for Snap, for them to be able to see where they sit across the other social platforms. And what that helped us establish is that they were squarely in line. But when we drilled down a little bit more and looked at format specific, we realized and found out that Snap commercials and Snap lenses are in the top 3 formats across all of Lumen's social benchmarks. So this really new perspective helps advertisers plan better and buy better. The final piece of the puzzle is around cost. And this is really where, this is really where attentive CPM is really helping us in solving this equation. With CPM-based campaign, we often sacrifice format-based, format quality for a quantity of cheap impressions. But with ACPM, this gives us a different story. You get more attention for 40% less money, even when your CPMs are higher. So there is a balance to finding the right level of attention that will produce the right outcomes, and in this case, brand lifts. By conducting over 285 studies and correlating them to our attention scores, we were able to establish that for campaigns that reached at least 1,000 APM in score, they produced at least 3 times higher lift likelihoods and 20 times higher ad recall lifts. So all of that leads us to attention-first planning and how to optimize campaigns better. Attention is all about finding the right balance between efficiency and effectiveness. And really rethinking the buying signals is really important here. And when looking at the different campaign objectives, investing in video view and web view is able to drive higher awareness and higher engagement with the audience. One mention around formats and creative, which is a huge piece in this piece of work, is that for commercials, sound can improve brand outcomes. Subtitles are really important, especially when the sound is off. And following Snap's best practice in creative by maximizing the full 6 seconds is really, really important as well. From a lens perspective, the more immersive the experience, the better. And balancing that immersive experience with clear branding is really, really essential. So don't forget about the logo throughout the experience. So to finish off, 3 things to remember. First, human-led research with ground in reality data is the only foundation to scaled approaches. Time as a signal, especially when we're talking about attention and considering formats and creative, is really, really important to be able to help correlation to the right outcome with accuracy. And last but not least, attention is a means to an end. It is not a vanity metric. It is only a vehicle to be able to get the right results, maybe brand outcomes or sales lifts. And as Hannah said, it provides greater transparency to brands and agencies. And with that, we leave you a lot to think about. Thank you very much.